What's up, everybody? What's up, Souls and Things? What's up, Justin? What's up, Earl? Just trying to get our guest right quick. Look. All right. What's up, Izzy? What's up, Mr. Zebra? Justin, you gotta let me know if you want to do one of these, man. Tell me all about your kicks and whatnot. I know a lot of these questions I would ask you anyway, but you gotta let me know if you want to do one of these too, man. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to have you on. So now we're just waiting for our guests. So yeah. But yeah, man, how'd everybody do this weekend? Did everybody get the sixes? I wasn't able to get them, but you know, it's all good. Are these sixes gonna be like the Carmines? So okay. Well shoot, just let me know. You want to see a couple of Kobe's, a friend might be able to hop on with you later on. Okay. Oh, you know Hyperdunks? Yeah, follow each other. Yeah, he got a lot. I don't get him, yeah. What's up, Keandra? Just waiting for our guest. Yeah, I know he's got a lot of Kobe's. I know, man. I mean, I'm glad to have the pairs I have, but I would love to. There is our guest right there. I would love to have some of the stuff that he has, though. So just sent the invite for our guest. But yeah, he's got a lot of Kobe's, man. Like, I would be happy just having his Kobe 2s and 3s. You know what I mean? Because I've got some of the stuff he has, but the conditions is not there. You know, a lot of those Kobe's didn't really. I wore a lot of them, so a lot of them didn't age that well. So Mark loves Kobe's, loves Kobe everything. Yeah, I see. Come on. All right. Well, what's up, White Boy Tone? Until we can get our guest, I'm gonna need one of y'all to hop on here with me for a little bit. I usually don't like doing that, but I may have to. So I'm struggling here for a little bit. I don't want to lose y'all. Look fire responsibly. Are you getting the invites? Should be an invite in there for you. Oh, that's cool. Technical difficulties are coming through. Okay. Yeah. Hey, V. I'll hop on there with me right quick.
What up, though?
Nothing. Just trying to get like you. Oh, and we got Look Fly responsibly here.
Hey.
Yeah. So, how you ladies doing today?
I mean, you know me.
I'm good. I was trying to do it on the computer, but it wasn't acting right. So I'm on my phone and I have a terrible camera. So my front facing camera is bad, so I'm a little hazy. But I'm here. How you doing?
Feel that, good to have you. Good to have you. I was struggling there for a little bit. I really had no questions for the chat. So, I'm struggling. Had to have my wife hop on here for a hot minute, just to
No worries.
body. Thank you for
me,
you know what I mean?
Oh, you're welcome. I'm just gonna hop off and go ahead and prepare dinner, sir. Have a good night.
Yes.
Have a good night, sis.
All right. So we have got Thrifty Sneakerhead, look fly responsibly in the house. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
What up? What up?
All right. Now, before we get into any of the questions, and I didn't even get to send you the thing, it's basically like a basketball game. It's where the first quarter is sneaker origins, the second quarter is more recent sneaker past, third quarter is sneaker present, fourth quarter is sneaker future. Okay?
All right. Let's see what I can do.
Yeah, I don't know. You got it. So before we get started, and before you introduce yourself, I always ask people, what's the most positive thing you've been able to take from the world since the pandemic?
Ooh. I think for me, my takeaway is what I used to think was important is not. And that could be in a variety of different ways. But, the way in which we lived life prior to COVID, there was emphasis on many different things of getting this, being this, going here, doing that, all of those things. But then when we had to sit down for a second and essentially reevaluate life and how we wanted to move forward, I think for me, that was the part that I found clarity. I found my purpose again. And I realized some things that I'm not going to do after, COVID is even over. I'm not going back to. I like the way it is. And I'm going to do my best to continue to be the most authentic person that I am. But yeah, there's certain things that I'm not really into anymore because, I realized it was not necessary. So.
Got you. No, I understand that completely. I respect that. Well, before we get into quarter one, because we're still in the warm up, you mind telling everybody, who you are, where you're from?
Definitely. So Tonette is the name. Government name is Tonette. I am from the Chicagoland area, out in the suburbs in that area. So born and raised here. I am a multifaceted. I have many different hats, professional hats. I have ministerial hats. I have, just the sneaker hat. I have the business owner hat. All of those different things. So quite a few different things that I got going on. But that's me. I'm also just simply just Tonette, right? Like all the titles is cool, but at the end of the day, just call me Tonette, and we all good.
Okay. All right. I am gonna have after the show, before we sign off, I have some Chicago and some Thrifty Sneakerhead questions. So
for sure,
I will ask and after we get through all the sneaker stuff. Before we jump in, the one last question: what shoe did you break out today, or did you break out any heat today?
Oh yeah, well it's Air Max month, so I have my green Air Max 90s.
Okay.
Today I don't have them on because I'm in the house, but yes, this is what is on feet today.
Okay, nice. I broke out a semi-beater myself. I actually still have them on my foot, so let me kick these off. I came with the Comet 95, an OG colorway that gets overlooked for the neons all the time. So
yeah.
They haven't retroed them correctly probably ever. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so but it is Air Max month. It's been hard just wearing Air Maxes.
Yeah, that's a challenge, right? Like even though you got a bunch, it's still like a challenge trying to figure out, okay, which one am I wearing and like what am I wearing? So yeah.
Yeah, because I guess for me, it's like I'm just gonna wear my favorite pairs, but so much has come in over the last week where I'm like, ooh, I want to wear them. It's about to get hot. Like it was 80 degrees today. Tomorrow it's only supposed to be like 55. So it's gonna be too hot for some of this shit. So that's why I'm like, but I'm gonna do the 31 days. Fuck it. I love Air Maxes, so I'm gonna just do it.
Yeah, hopefully I can make it all 31. I think I got 31 pair. I'm going to see. I'm going strong so far. Day 7, we all right. We'll see what happens.
As someone who's been a fan of yours for a while, I'm sure you've got 31 pairs.
I hope so.
Because I had to revisit some of your pictures, when I was making the flyer, and I'm like, I'm just like, because you got a nice mix of some older stuff, some newer stuff, like, real diverse. And that's
yeah.
I don't hate on
That's how I got into this game. The old stuff is how I got into this game.
Yeah. Like, I don't hate on anybody for, I just collect J's, or I just collect trainers, or I just collect, this. But to me, the versatility is what impresses me the most with anybody's sneaker collection, So props to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. So, all right, the first quarter, sneaker beginnings. So you got to tell me your earliest sneaker memory.
My earliest sneaker memory, pair of Felines. I was in middle school, and the Grant Heels was popular. But it was I don't even know the name of the shoe, but it was the Feli that had the basketball on the back with the hand on the basketball. I don't remember the name of the shoe, but I remember seeing that shoe, and I said, well, I would like to have that. Well, that's not what we did in my household. You just wore what your mama gave you or told you was going to wear. And I remember talking to my uncle, and I was like, hey, like, I think had to be like 7th grade. I was like, hey, Unc, there's these shoes that's coming out that came out. And I'm like, do you think you can help me buy them? And he was like, I don't know about that. And so I talked to him some more, just kept kind of bugging him. He was like, how much? I think they were like $70. They were like $70. I wish I can remember the name of the shoe. I just remember the basketball. It was a gray basketball with an orange hand on the back of the Feli. And so I eventually convinced him to like give me most of the money, right? And then I think I asked my mom for like the rest. And so she took me to the store and I got those. So that was like the first one. And then the other one was the Grant Heels. It was tax time and mom let me get a pair of shoes from her tax money. And so those two, Feli was my very first like name brand shoe. And I rocked them till I couldn't even tell you, probably up until high school-ish. And so, yeah, that was my first memory of grabbing some Felis that I thought was fly. I don't know if anybody else did, but I thought they were dope. And that's what I had. That's how I started.
So 2 things. I appreciate you for saying Feli and not Fila, because that's how we used to say it back then. Feli. You know what I mean? So thank you. Now, I know I'm not supposed to ask a lady how old she is. So
yeah, you can
how old you are. But like, when did you come out of high school? So I at least know what kind of era.
I graduated high school at the age of 17 in 1998.
Okay. Yeah, you were a year ahead of me. I came out in 99. So, that's okay. So yeah, we that same era. Okay. So I know. I mean, if it's around the time, I'm thinking that could have been the Feli Cage or the Feli Run Ball.
See, I'm not good with that's my problem. I'm really not good with the names, but I remember the shoe vividly. Mm-hmm. It was a black shoe with that gray ball and the orange hand on the back.
Yeah, I remember that because they put that on a couple shoes. But yeah, that was a good time, and a lot of people either weren't around or don't know how popular Feli has been. They've had a couple different runs where it's like,
yeah.
Like I was 7th grade, 93, 94, and everybody had these Feli running shoes, and they had a big F on the side, sort of like how a New Balance looked, but it was a Feli. But
yes.
Or
yes, I know what you talk about.
Yeah, or those, and they came in all colors, and the Feli F100, basically the Feli Air Force One. I remember no boys had them. Ever at school, going to school, like, middle school. But yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Now, those were the first 2 shoes that were kind of like the memories. But like, what was that next shoe after those that was like, all right, I'm in this life?
So, honestly, like, this is probably may sound crazy, but I didn't own my first pair of Jordans until, probably 2015-ish. So I've never been a Jordan girl. And so I was rocking, if I wasn't a Fila, I was rocking I was in the K-Swiss movement. Had to have the fresh white classic K-Swiss. I was rocking lugs when they came out,
Lugs was big.
rocking them hard, them lug like shoe boots that weighed about 800 pounds, like rocking those joints. Um, Air Max a little bit, like my brother got me into like Air Maxes or whatever, but yeah, I was never into the hype, shoes that was out, like the most popular thing that was dropping. Like my cousins, everybody around me was rocking that, but we wasn't privy to have access to be able to do that. And even when I started working at 15. I think I still was just in my basic, make sure my fresh whites. Then obviously the Air Force One era had a couple pair of the Air Force Ones, but like legit, I didn't buy any Jordans until about 2015, and that was just because they happened to be at the outlet mall, and I purchased. That was it. Like you look at my collection now, you would think that I've been like in the game for a minute with Jordan and things like that. It's honestly, I haven't. Like, it's literally just been a very, very new process, but I'm just rocking whatever I like. And so that's what my closet kind of looks like. Well, not even a closet, I have a room, but that's what it looks like, just whatever I like. I'm a Converse girl too, and I know you a Converse man. I probably got about 60 pair of Chucks.
That's good.
So yeah, I just never was like, at the end of the day, give me that fresh white when I was growing in high school. Give me that fresh white K-Swiss, and I was good to go.
The only reason I made that face is because you're from Chicago. How you from
Yeah,
Chicago?
I'm not.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm not that girl.
all right. All right. 'Cause I've been to Chicago a number of times. I mean, it's just Jordans everywhere. Everywhere. Even in the
Yeah. I always wanted them, but we could never afford them. And so I just didn't even really, after a certain period of time when you don't get them, I don't even think about it no more. And
nah,
so I just left it alone. I left it for my cousins that they rock it or whatever. And my feet was always bigger than everybody, so I couldn't like wear their shoes.
I got you. I got you. Because, I mean, it's sort of like that. Like, I'm from Cleveland. So it's sort of like that with LeBron's, where like LeBron's are like a dime a dozen. Like, back, like I've always been a Lakers fan. I was happy Cavs won or whatever, but I always had a hard time finding Kobe's because I was in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? So it was like LeBron's and KD's everywhere. So, but I respect that. You standing on your own too. Everybody wearing Jordans. Like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. So proud of that as well.
Dare to be different, right?
Yeah, for sure. Now, what was that first fit, since we still, back in the 90s for the time being, what was that first shoe or outfit combo that you had when you was young that you really was like cracking heads with, where people like, oh, okay, so we see.
No, I had a cross color denim, like denim jeans. It was white denim jeans with the white, like it was a hoodie, but it was the short sleeves.
Okay.
With the big cross color patch on the front.
Ooh.
And then my fresh white K-Swiss. That was it. That was it for me.
Killed him.
That was it. Cross color. I remember that vividly. I feel like I wore that out. It got beige. I wore it so many times.
Hey, we all got fits like that. Like, I remember I had the Carl Kanai. Remember when they was using the Carl Kanai where they had like the metal plate with the on it?
Yes.
I had a couple things with that. I had a hat that was like beige, and it had the, you know what I mean? And yeah, that was good times. But I always loved cross colors, man. I remember a couple years ago, this dude had a cross colors like a leather, and he wanted like $200 for it, which essentially, this was at a sneaker con in Cleveland. I should have bought it, but it was early in the show, and I'm like, nah, I might fuck around and walk around and see something I want more than this jacket. So I'm gonna just off on this jacket. And when I came back, the jacket was gone. I was
dang.
Because I'm like, I can't even find that shit online. Like, a cross color is leather. You know what I mean? So It's cool. I like wearing old with the with the new kind of mix of it. So
Yeah. I feel you.
all right. So before we jump into the second quarter, which is more recent sneaker pass, I do have to ask you, who were your early sneaker / outfit influencers? Was it somebody you knew, family member, somebody on TV? I have a couple different ones, but who?
Yeah. So like for me, I think it was the people that I was around. So like I went to high school. I mean, I went to school with like this guy. We've been in school together since like the third grade, all the way up through high school. And he's from a pretty popular family in the area or whatever. And so it's like a gang of them. But like I remember distinctly every day, like looking to see what he's wearing. Like even starting in like third grade, right? Like he had on the latest, greatest everything from head to toe. And I remember just watching him. And I never said anything. I just remember watching him like, man, I can get this, or I wish I can get that. And so his name is Travis. But like, I still know him to this day, but like, I never told him that I always was peeping his style or whatever. But I always looked at him. And then for me, honestly, once I got to like high school or whatever, and getting ready, like going into my junior, senior year, the WNBA started. And so I looked up to all those players. I was never really one that's big on, athletes and movie stars and all that other stuff, but they became like my celebrities. And so I would always check and see, what style they rock in and things like that. So that was my biggest thing right there.
Got you.
WNBA players, and then the dude from third grade all the way up, he had the latest greatest.
Yeah, nah. Like I always tell the story. It's a dude that I went to high school with. Like this dude, like he didn't repeat his shoe till like Halloween. You know what I'm saying? Like we in high school now. Like every day, like a different pair. Reebok Preachers, Barry Sanders, Jordans, Pennies,
Right.
Tempo, just like everything. And I was like, man, I need to be like that. Like. You know what I mean? Like, I never said anything like that. And then, I had the epiphany. I'm like, man, these dudes are selling dope. Ain't nobody got money.
Well,
I had to have that.
I didn't want to say it. But
Dude,
yeah.
no wonder they got all this. These ain't working at regular jobs of that kind of money. So.
Right.
Oh, man. So, we'll hop to the second quarter, which is more recent sneaker pass. We're still in the 90s, though, for the time being. Where was your first job?
I worked at Jewel Osco.
Okay.
Jewel Osco. I was working in Jewel Osco. I was in a co-op program in high school. So I go to high school for half the day, then I went to work. So I worked there starting from age 15 all the way through to about 22, 23.
That's pretty good for a first job. That's a lot of tenure there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, like it's crazy. I look back and it's like I don't really have a whole bunch of jobs I've ever switched to. Like once I get one, I kind of stay there. But like I would go when I went away to college and come back on breaks. They still let me work, so I did that. And then the year I graduated college, I came back and worked for a couple of months, and then I moved on. But yeah, I stayed there all the way through.
Okay. So with that first job, and we may have already touched on it, but what were those first sneakers that you bought with that first check? Can you remember it?
Oh man, I don't even. Okay, let me think. There had to have been a pair. I feel like there had to have been a pair that I bought. So because I was working and in high school, it was matter of fact, it was my winter dance like ensemble. Which was just like a casual, like you can wear jeans and t-shirts. That's what our winter dance was. And so I had some jeans. I had a lime green. Oh, I wish I knew what the picture was. I had a lime green lugs like t-shirt and a pair of the lug shoe boots. Listen, I thought in my mind that I was killing it. And then my best friend, we got the same outfit, so we took pictures together. Like you couldn't tell me nothing. Like I wore that doggone shirt and that pants combo with them shoes till them shoes started leaning. them lugs in the back started leaning. That was the first shoe I remember buying with that paycheck. Cause like I said, I started working when I was 15 and I was a junior at the time. But yeah, I remember buying that whole outfit and was ready.
Nice. I remember lime green being really prevalent in the late 90s, man, on FUBU and Becca, Lugs, and all these brands. Even Tommy and Nautica was trying to get a piece of that with the
Yep.
polo with the lime green.
Yep.
But yeah, like good times. Now I know you had said that WNBA was part of it. So like, are you into sports?
Yeah, so I've always been into basketball. I didn't play in school or anything like that, but I was always around it. I was like the manager of the team. Then I had my family that was right underneath me, and I was always with them shooting in the gym with them. But yeah, basketball was probably the biggest influence for me, and was at all like the high school games and things like that. And so yeah, once the WNBA came, that just amplified my love for the game, and I still have the same love today.
Yeah, and I only ask because, I mean, this isn't even really a second quarter question, but I ask because I know for me, there are certain sneakers that I wouldn't own if I wasn't into sports.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have a bunch of Iversons if I didn't fuck with AI or a bunch of Kobe.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we're both older, so I'm not shooting no more. You know what I mean? I might, but hey, half court, 33, something. It ain't gonna be no court.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm real big on history, and for me, just historic moments with historic sneakers. It really, it means a lot to me, more than some other. Like history, sports will always be over the hype for me. So I figured. Yeah. Before I forget.
Another pair that I remember buying, now that you just brought that up, is when I was managing, you get the team shoes or whatever. And then, so I obviously just have to buy my own team shoe or whatever. But I remember saving up to get the white Penny Hardaways, the white and blue.
Okay.
My grocery store was right here, and then there was a sports store, like not even really a sports authority. It was like a local sports store right next door. I would go there on like break and just see what they got. And when those pennies came, I was like, okay. And I looked at the price tag and what that would be. I'm like, okay, I got to work. So I remember I picked up my check, and because I told the guy, I'm like, I'm coming to get these. I picked up my check, went to cash it, and I came back. And I had to have those pennies. That had to have been like my junior year in high school, maybe even senior. But yeah, I had to have those. I remember those. And I couldn't even tell you where they are today, to be perfectly honest. I don't even know what happened to them.
So it was the white ones with like the blue wave up the side?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Had to have them.
Yeah. Back in the day, I had the black ones. I always wanted those white ones. I didn't get the white ones until 2009 when they finally brought them back. But yeah, I love those shoes,
Yeah.
Penny 3. Okay. Now, were there any L's from the 90s, the sneaker you never got to really touch that you always wanted from back then?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I have several.
And it's going to be weird, but like, no, like wait, no, that's not true. So I think my brother had a pair of Jordans, and I want to say they was 4s, but I'm probably wrong. But I feel like they was 4s, and I looked at them, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice shoe. And he told me like how much they cost or whatever. I'm like, yeah, no. He's 5 years older than I am, and I'm like, yeah, no. And I'm just like, it's nice to look at. And the crazy thing is, I still remember those. I think he still has them, but I don't even own any 4s now, like because I haven't found any that I connected with that way. When I was like, oh, look at I think that was the white, the fire. Maybe it was like the fire red ones or something like that. I remember them being red and black and white. That's what I remember. Okay. But I didn't even try for them when they came back around because again, I wasn't really into the Jordan thing, right? Like I was just building my brand, building my sneaker collection on stuff that was in the outlet mall, right? And so I wasn't even thinking about that. But now it's like, now I have a little bit more, income. I got a little bit more of this, that, the other, and I'm like slowly building, what I like, not necessarily what's hype. And so one of my friends teases me all the time that I'll never go for fours, and I'm just like, I haven't found none that I was like, I gotta have until the ones I see coming out for the holiday this year. So that's probably gonna be my first four.
I got you. So I know you really ain't mess with the Jays too tough in the '90s, right? But were the Bulls still like your team, or was it another team?
Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah. Still love the Bulls, but yeah, I was just never into the. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because growing up, not really being able to afford it, not really thinking about it no more. And so it was just like, okay, they nice, but
for sure. Now okay, because we're almost at the halfway point for halftime. Do you have any purchases from the '90s that you kind of regret? Like, I probably shouldn't have bought those. They wasn't that, like, was it something like, what was I? Oh, I think we all got some, but I don't know if you got any. I got some.
Yeah. I remember I think it was some Asics that I bought back in the 90s that I thought in that moment that they was fly. But you know how Asics, the style of Asics back then is not like it is right now. When you had the like split tongue situation or whatever, like those are like legit running shoes, right? Like shoes that you like doing something in, being active with. But I don't know. I think the colorway spoke to me. But it was just all kinds of colors. And I remember, I don't remember even the style, but I remember it being the ASIC. And I rocked them for a while because at the end of the day, I done spent my money on them wearing. But it was one of those shoes that I was like, yeah, this doesn't go with a whole bunch of stuff. Like you got to pick certain things to wear with this. Otherwise, you're just doing way too much. So yeah, that's probably one of the ones that I really just remember. Like, why did I pick an ASIC out of everything that's out here? Why did I pick this? Something in the color just drew me to it, but it was not the shoe to be all shoes. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it is now halftime. So now, if the chat, there's people in the chat, talking. Shout out to everybody in the chat, But I'm gonna just ask you just some random stuff, nothing crazy, but
okay.
Bulls fan, right? You all are
Bulls. Yeah.
Y'all are good this year.
Yeah, we're doing all right. And I'm gonna tell you why we're doing all right. This is my perspective. Because the Bulls seen the Chicago Sky WNBA win that championship. And they was like, wait a minute. So that's why they're good this year.
Show. Justin, I do these shows whenever I can get somebody on. I just try to do them during the week. I don't really try to do them on the weekends, but you hit me up if you ever want to do this, man. I just needed to say that right quick. But
yeah, no worries.
Do you think y'all have enough to come out of the East? That pause right there, you like.
You be trying to like be hopeful, right? Like, we're doing all right. But like, was it just for a moment in time? Who we just added? Tristan Thompson? He just come to our team, I think. I feel like.
Oh, really?
I feel like he just came, but maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like he came. He on Chicago team right now, but I don't follow as tough as I probably should. But do I think we can come out the East? I'm gonna go with no. I think we're gonna get close, but I don't think we're coming out.
So, what do you think y'all problem is? Is it a lack of size? Like y'all had nobody to mess with Giannis or Joel or?
I mean, because who messing with Giannis? Like, who? So yeah, I don't think we got the size. I don't know if that's what they added Tristan for, but whatever. But no, we don't have the size, I don't think, to deal with the Bucks. We got shooters, okay, but at the end of the day, you need a little bit more than that. Like DeRozan is doing well.
Yes.
I'm not mad at him coming to Chicago at all. You know what I mean? Like he came in and he doing his job. But is that enough? No. You think about all the other teams, especially if you think about the Bucks. they have multiple folks that can beat you any day. You know what I mean? And so, especially if, light skinned guy ain't having the best moment on the court for us, he iffy sometimes. They all got to be clicking on the same page.
Zach.
But yeah, Zach LaVine, yeah, that's what I just call light skinned guy.
No, it's fine. I've heard other people call him that. Oh,
He's cool, but he's too inconsistent for me. But that's just that.
Now, before we jump into the third quarter, one more sports question. Now, with you being from Chicago, like you're from Chicago, so I always say it was a big deal when we won the Cavs won the 2016 finals. Coming back from I still don't feel like Cleveland was as crazy as it could have been if the Browns or the Indians won, as opposed to the Cavs, since the Cavs are like the newest team. They're only like 50 years old. Who owns Chicago as far as sports? Is it the Cubs? Is it the Bears? Like, who owns Chicago? Like, I'm not even coming outside.
Right. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so that's also a good question because it's close. Because I think one, I'm a White Sox fan, but we're not going there. But I do I do think it is the Cubs. If you look at the bigger picture, I think it's the Cubs, closely followed by the Bears. I think the Bulls will be third, just because of yes, we have all of this great history, these back-to-back championships, but like people ain't seen nothing close to it in a long time. And so you get a little tired of something. But with the Bears, listen, they all right. But at the end of the day, for me, it's gonna always be the Sky, because that's just I'm WNBA over anybody all day long. So, and the fact that we won and we have a really good chance of repeating this year, it's gonna start changing. It's gonna start changing.
Y'all still have Del Don?
Nah, she left a while ago. She left a few years ago. She in DC. She in DC.
Yeah. I need to get.
We got Candace Parker, so we got the hometown kid, Candace Parker. So we all right.
Yeah, how did that happen? How is she not on the Sparks anymore? How did that happen?
Yeah, right. Like she spent her whole career over there in LA, but I think she's just looking for an opportunity and coming back home and spending her last couple of years, because she ain't gonna be playing too much longer. I think she might play this year, then I think she'll be done. So ended at home. Why not? And then she came back her first year coming here, got the dub again, could potentially repeat this year. So why not?
Got you. Okay. Yeah, I need to definitely brush up on my WNBA. You know what I mean? So she will be on TNT. She gonna be the fifth person up there with Kitty and Shaq and Charles Barkley.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
yeah, she's good. Okay.
All right, now we will jump to Sneaker Present third quarter.
Okay, let's go.
Now, I don't want to be too heavy, and I don't like to bring up, race, gender, or anything, but do you feel like being a lady into sneakers, that it's any tougher or any harder than a guy that's into it?
So here's what I will say. I am a female sneakerhead who can't get any female releases because my feet is too big. So I struggle with that aspect, one, because why we got to stop at a 12. That's all I'm saying. Especially when you got all of these athletes and things like that. But we can save that for separate. And so, yeah, I think I think it's tougher to get. Well, it's tougher in general to get shoes. Let's just start there. But I think it is tougher because you're competing with both genders, especially if you're trying to go after, a women's specific shoe. Like, you're competing with both genders, right? Like, even though, the guy that got them may be someone who can't even fit that size, but it's for a resale purpose or whatever, maybe somebody else. And so your chances are slim, right? And I'm not saying that women don't go after dude shoes. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you think about the bigger picture, yeah, it's a little bit tougher for us to get those women exclusive shoes, right? When it should be a women's exclusive. And then again, for me, again, I'm always eliminated anyway, but my fellow sisters are wanting the shoe and they can't get the shoe and this, that, the other. Like it's just a crapshoot all around. But I think it's just harder, especially when you have a shoe that can be a unisex shoe, right? I'm not talking the specific like the super like pinks and all that other stuff where dudes like, no, I'm not really gonna wear that. But the ones that are really kind of almost gender neutral, you're really, really competing with a whole bunch of folks.
Okay. Now,
but I do have a bone to pick with people making only a size 12 for women. That.
So I know I'm not supposed to ask a lady her size, but what size do you wear?
So I need a 13.
A women's 13?
And women. Yeah, I need a women's 13.
See, now I feel bad. Because I have several women's, because that's my size. I'm an 11 and a half, 12. You know what I mean? Sometimes I can do a women's 12, but like I wore some Concord 90s yesterday that was a women's 13 because y'all be getting the good colors, man. You know?
Listen, I hear you, but Jordan don't seem to want to go past that 12. I mean, I think the one shoe that I really, really wanted was the Silver Toes, the AJ1 Silver Toes. Yeah. I can still get them because reach backs, whatever, but like I really tried for that. I'm like, ooh, it's extended sizes. Yes, I'm going to really have an opportunity. Yeah, nah.
Yeah. Before say it's set up to like a 15, and then because I plan on trying to get them too. And then when it's like only goes up to a 12 like that day, I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's a catch-22 for me particularly, just because I love a whole bunch of the women releases that came out. I promise you, but I just can't fit them. So I can just look on the sidelines.
I really feel like the last women's release, they really came out with a lot of pairs for men. Well, it's two. For last year, it was the I'm on my year 3.
Mm-hmm.
The year before that, it was that UNC to Chicago one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wasn't smart enough. Well, I tried on the last release. I let a couple of releases go of the I'm on my year because I was like, it's for women. It's just a women's story. But on that last sneakers release, I was like, man, fuck that. I'm gonna try to get these. And I took an L. You know what I'm saying? But I was
multiple L's.
To Chicago though.
Multiple L's. Yeah.
Because it's still like I like old looking stuff, even new old stuff. So, you know, I got kind of influenced by my wife because she doesn't like old looking stuff. And I was like, man, yeah, I'm not going to get those. Yeah, forget those. And then I started thinking about all I could do, and I'm not blaming her, but I definitely tried to get.
Yeah, that's a dope pair. That's a dope pair. That's still on my wish list.
Yeah, they too much now, man. They was around 300 for a while, but now they like 600.
Yeah, they up there. They up there.
It's not like, I don't feel like any shoe is, but that definitely is not a $600 shoe. You know, not to
Agreed. Agreed.
Agreed. All right. So as far as, you know, again, you being in the Chicagoland area, how would you describe the sneaker scene now as opposed to how it was before?
Oh man.
And is there
right now? Yeah, like right now it's so, I feel like it's like you don't know the right people, you never get a shot, right? With like the boutiques and all of those little mom and pops and things like that. It's just like I didn't know all of this stuff existed. Listen, growing up, you going to your local like little sports authority. We had this local store called Kerhoffers. Like we doing all of that. And people were still getting, you know, shoes and J's and stuff was just sitting, right? Even you can go to the mall and you can just pick up a shoe. You know, even when we got to the point where we were standing in line waiting, there was still a real good chance of like you getting this shoe. But like now, and I know it was changing before COVID, but now that COVID done hit, like it's I was just at the mall Saturday, went to a couple stores or whatever, like the selections that they have in store, it's just like, man, I just really wasted my time being up in here. Then every once in a while you see like a glimmer of hope that you got, oh, they got this size, they got this shoe with this style. And they be like, yeah, no, that's the only one we got. We just got it here. Like, it's like no hope. But like everybody's into shoes now. Like like people that you can look at somebody and be like, nah, they not into that. They into it either for themselves or for the resale value, right? And so it's just like it's just so much competition trying to get stuff. I've never I've never stood in a line. My family have stood in the line, this, that, or the other. But back then stuff just felt accessible. You know what I'm saying? Now it feels like everything is out of your reach.
Yeah, regular.
You know, it's hard being a sneakerhead right now. If you ain't willing to spend buku dollars, and I'm not, I'll just say that, it's just like you might as well just forget it. And you go on and find you something little, what one of the guys that I in my sneaker community says, regular people shoes. I'm just going to find some little regular people shoes, and just, it is what it is. Because taking these L's and this culture now, like, people, even now, people, because they know, like, I'm into shoes, they'll say, hey, they'll see me a picture of a shoe. Like, hey, can I get this shoe? No, you can't. That shoe came out 2 weeks ago. Like, where was you at?
Yeah.
Like, it ain't no, we can run back and go grab it, you know, kind of thing. And it's like, you start telling people that, they be like, well, what? And I'm like, man, the sneaker game done changed. It's just changed. And we got to change with it, or, you know, we just out here, just L City all day. But yeah, I think now, it's just things are glorified in a way that, and I think social media obviously has something to do with that, right? Because you're seeing, you know, all of these pictures, you're seeing whether it's a celebrity or whatever, or people hyping up this and making things look good. But it's not even for most of the people that's buying is not buying it for the value of like, yes, I want to put this on my feet. It's like, I want to say I got it. Like, I want to be the one that got them so I can feel whatever they want to feel, right? And I think that's what the culture is now, for a lot of different folks. And that's not how I play the game, right? Like, I'll put my little bids in, do my little footwork and this, that, or the other. But at the end of the day, if it don't come to me, it don't come to me. And I'll just figure out on to the next. Or if it's something that I really, truly want, I'll figure out a way to get it. But yeah, it's just a different scene now. Before, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, shoes was always popular, especially in the Black community, right? The Black and brown community. We was always staying fly. But like, this is a different level, like a very different level. Like, I was just out. What day was that? I was just out on Saturday, and I was just in a random parking lot somewhere, and I seen two people get out of a car. Two people that I would have never thought would have on like Dunks, and I'm like, wow, this is what we've come to. Like, people that you just be like, you know what a dunk is? You know what I mean? And I know that's judging folks, but it's just at the same time, you know, I see the shoe before I see the person. I'm just like, dang. Yeah. Like, it's really that popular out here that everybody is part of this culture.
No, it's true. It happened to me yesterday. My wife and I, we were in this part of, I mean, I hate to just say it like this, and I don't want to offend anyone, but this was like the whitest part of this area that I've seen since we've lived here. We've only been here in North Carolina since 20, but like, it was all these teenage girls, and they all had on Jordan 1s, like,
yeah, Jordan
1s or Dunks, and I'm just like, I'm the same way. I'm like,
yeah,
or Blazers.
Yeah,
Blazers is another one that, you know,
right.
Teenage girls wear, and I'm like, If not them, it's dirty white forces, which I don't understand. That's a whole nother combo.
And they gotta be dirty. I ain't ever seen a clean pair.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't seen them wear a clean pair yet.
Yeah. So you're right. It's different, you know.
It's different.
I'll say for me, even at the start of the pandemic, I always say those first few releases were still easy to get. You could get the court purple ones, the DMP 6s, the fire red 5s, the silver tongue version. You could just get those shoes. That Flint 13 is when everything changed.
Yeah.
That is a regular people shoe. It's a Jordan, but it's not like it's a PSNY or a Union or Virgil.
Yeah.
Regular Air Jordan from 1998. You should just be able to get that. It's a GR. It's full family. You know how it is. Anytime you see a shoe and it says it's full family, it's like, Well, it shouldn't be hard to get them. You know, if it's full,
Right.
that means it's a lot of
Right.
them. Yeah, nah,
Not so much.
nah, and
Not so much.
and
Yeah.
even these UNC sixes, like for the first time in a long time, I just say, man, fuck them shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I fuck them shoes. Just not gonna get them.
Yeah, that was crazy.
No sneakers release.
That was crazy.
Gave them all away too early. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna complain. I did cop a pair, not for myself. I hit my brother's size, but I was trying for a pair and I just couldn't get one for me. But it's all good.
yeah, fuck them. You know, they'll come back around.
Exactly. Exactly. Everything gets recycled.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, all right, I know you weren't confident back then, but you still remember him being from Chicago. Remember the white and Jordan,
Yeah.
the white and blue Jordan used to be secondary. It's like, oh, you can get the black and red ones, huh?
Yeah.
Because they just sat. It's sat. Now white.
Yeah. You can't get nothing at this point.
Like,
no matter the colorway, you ain't getting nothing.
Yeah, and then like, 'cause I know you got a pair. I like how you did the fit with them, by the way. The patchwork threes.
Oh yes, listen.
It's gonna be more of that. Where those only came out on Nike. Like they didn't. I don't even think they came out on the sneakers app. I think they were just on Nike.com. Maybe I'm not sure how, but I know they didn't make it to stores. I don't think. But
I don't think so. No.
Yeah,
I love those.
Yeah, it's gonna be more.
I love those.
Yeah. Those you did those. You did those well. I had to give you props on that. I had to make sure I
appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, listen, and the thing is, like, these lace swaps that really wasn't a thing. Like, I don't remember like that being a thing as I was growing up, right? But now it's like you can make the shoes pop with with a simple lace swap, right? Like you could take a very basic situation and turn it into something that you'd be like, dang, that's nice. You know what I mean? And so like getting into that now is cool for me. Like I got my sis Paula, who always dropping like the lace swap pictures. You just like, dang, how do you even think of that combo? But I'm gonna try it though. I'm gonna try it. So yeah, those patchworks. Yeah, I was happy to have those in my collection. Very happy.
Now, what's the shoe in your collection that it's a popular shoe, but it didn't necessarily age well for you?
So, and I just wore this shoe, and I know it's still super new. Again, I'm still new to this. The Jubilee.
Okay.
I copped it when it, that was like my first big like purchase of a Jordan. And everybody was talking about, oh, it's a Jubilee because of this, that, all, which is fine. It's fine. But like, I just wore it earlier this year, I think it was, in January for the first time. And so I'm like, yeah, it's not really, it's not what I really, one, is not that comfortable. I could just say that. Two, I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I would ever do this again in terms of like spend that kind of bread on a shoe because it's not that comfortable. It's cool. It's pretty to look at. It's nice and shiny, easy to clean, but it's just not, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. From all the hype that I was hearing, like, around, on YouTube and the internet, all this, I'm just like, no, I could be all right if I didn't have that shoe.
Got you. All right. So, a lot of people don't have one. I have a few, but like, do you have a go-to as far as places that you do get your shoes now?
Since COVID, no.
Okay.
No. Like my outlets have been dry. Like, so I used to hit up, so I go to like Wisconsin like once a month, and I used to go to the outlet out there. And that's where I was hitting like all kind of stuff. Like that's where most of my collection ended up coming from. But once COVID hit and stuff was just like, I'm like, why? One, they got rid of like all the sales they used to have. Like all the little discounts or whatever. You get the little 20% wall and all that other stuff. They don't really do that no more. But it's like you got shoes that I'm like, I'm not gonna buy that. Like these are legit like running shoes or whatever the case may be. And so I asked the guy one time after, I think probably like my second or third time going to that mall during COVID. And I said, "What's up? What happened to all the shoes?" He was like, "Well," he was like, "This is what we've been told. The focus is now transitioning from shoes to apparel. And that's why you ain't seeing no more shoes there." I mean, I was cool with like the manager and everybody, like, because they knew I was there. Like once a month, they knew it was me, blah, blah, blah. I made myself known. And they was like, "Yeah, they're just focusing on apparel." So that used to be my go-to, like going to the outlet, the Nike outlet. And there's around me, there's like four. I have four like around me, like Nike outlet or factory store. I have four like within an hour of me. And so it's just been dead since COVID. That's where literally legit, that is the only place I have bought all of my shoes prior to COVID. Every last shoe that I own came from there that I still had. Obviously, back in the day, I don't have like my high school shoes and nothing like that. But like once I started buying shoes, they all came from there.
Yeah. And Nike, I'll just say, just working from them through Converse, are committed to direct to consumer. So the outlets have kind of turned from, "Ooh, I wonder what's gonna pop up at the outlet," to what got returned at the outlet. You know?
Yeah.
So that's I'm looking. They used to have an aisle, but now they just do end caps. So I'm like, what's on the end cap? Because
Yeah, they right. They just put all the like popular shoes right there on that little stand, and that's it.
yeah. So like I was lucky. I got my I keep calling them Iron Sides because of the old show, but Iron Stone Air Max 95s because
Mhm.
on Nike they were still regular price without any love. So I'm like, well, shit. Once they get returned, I'll be able to get some love on them. And they got returned, and yeah, I'm like, so this is what it's come to now. So if you want,
Yeah.
my wife just put in the comments, it's just a bunch of basketball shoes and team colorways. That's all that's really there. A bunch of KD, and it's not even the regular KDs. It's like the takedown KD,
No.
the three trays or whatever they called. A bunch of soul
Yes.
witnesses,
Yes.
So yeah, if I'm actually getting to go hoop somewhere, that would be good. But since I'm not hooping, doesn't really help.
Yeah. You're right. Nothing but basketball shoes.
So yeah, the outlet,
That's it.
because of the direct to consumer, it's just what got returned, what size is it, So
Right. Then they did that like recycle, renew, whatever for a little bit, but I haven't seen it since. I've literally seen it probably twice in the outlet, and now I don't even see the section anymore.
yeah, I remember that being a thing last year because none of the ones here in North Carolina had them, but there's one in Tennessee, and we went just to see, and we found a few things. Like my wife found some those ones. Remember the black ones with the yellow sole, and it's got like the red bar on it.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so she found those. I found these 3x1 collab Air Force Ones, but that was it. So it was the same thing. It was like, it's gone. Yeah, after that. So
yeah.
Outlets are basically the same as Dick's Sporting Goods. In fact, they're worse because Dick's has. That's a good point. Shout out DC Twitter.
That is a good point.
Yeah, but yeah, the outlet experience has definitely changed, and there is a lot of apparel, but like a lot of times it don't even be like the good apparel, man. Like, for instance, there's a jacket that's on Nike right now, and they actually have it at the Nike near us, where it's a jacket and there's a hoodie where it's Jordan at the free throw line in the twos. I would wear it with the twos, but it'd be hard for me to buy Jordan stuff where you can only wear it with like one shoe. It just seems like I can't wear that with anything but him wearing the twos because he has the twos on in the picture. So
right.
It's hard. I'm like, I'd rather just have a black hoodie with a red Jumpman on it. I could wear any Jordan with that.
Right.
So
that's a very specific.
Yeah. So if I'm
situation,
that's specific, it's got to be dirt. Like less than $30 dirt.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
ain't nobody wearing shit.
Like legit, like all I pick up in apparel is some joggers. Like that's it. I'll grab me some joggers and keep it moving. But that's it. That is it. It's been hit and miss, man.
Yeah.
Mostly misses. I'll say that. Like I've been able to get like my niece and like my god kids like little stuff because they still young, right? You can get little, shoes that they about to grow out of next week. You know what I mean? I can do that, but nothing for me.
Yeah.
I ain't got. I don't think I bought a shoe. The last shoe I bought at the outlet was actually the Ghost Green Jordan 1 lows, and that's just it. They was regular price, but they just happened to have those in the store because I had missed them on Sneakers app. That was the last shoe I bought at the outlet. So it's not like I bought it for outlet price. I just bought that because that's what I wanted. So
Got you. Well, before we close down the third quarter, I do have to ask you this. It's a basic question. It's kind of like when you meet somebody, you be like, what's your favorite color or whatever. But what's your favorite shoe in your collection right now?
my favorite shoe in my collection right now. So it is probably the Air Max 1. I just wore it on the first day of Air Max month. I don't know what the name is. I just know the colorway. And it's like blue. There's different color like blue, teal, white, and gray. It's the Air Max 1. That's my favorite shoe that I have out of all the shoes I have.
Okay.
I would grab it, but it's in the other room.
Hey, it's all good. I'm gonna go look back on your page.
But it's day one. It's day one of Air Max Day in my on my feed. So
Yeah. Okay. So as we go into the fourth quarter, the final quarter, I guess I'm gonna start with what's that shoe that is Thrifty Sneakerhead's holy grail? What's that shoe you like?
Woo! Ah.
You haven't been able to grab it yet, but you just want it. It's the shoe you want more than any other shoe.
Yeah, so it was the biohack.
Okay.
It was. That's the shoe that actually got me signed up for the Sneakers app because I have never heard of the Sneakers app before that shoe came out. So when I tell you I'm new to this, I'm super new to this, right? And so I missed out that day and I didn't understand the sneaker game. I had no idea that like shoes was that hard to cop and you had to go through this app and all this. I knew nothing about that because again, I lived in the outlets and I didn't care about none of these other new releases. I prided myself on getting shoes that was like $50 and under. Like that was my whole collection. That was my purpose. That's why I was Thrifty Sneakerhead, right?
Yeah.
But I seen the picture of that shoe and I was like, what is that and where do I go get it from? And so talking to some folks, they're like, well, you got to get the Sneakers app. You got to do this. And I'm just like, what? What is this? I can't just go in the store and get it. They're like, nah. I'm like, okay. So I sat and I'm telling the story because I don't think I really have one that's going to make me in this way anymore. I sat in my bed. I was ready for the 9 o'clock release. I had my phone. I had my computer. I had all the stuff that people told me to get. 9:01, couldn't get nothing. And I'm just like, and I keep trying and trying and trying. By 9:15, it's over with, right? And I'm like, why was this so difficult? And I like, thug tear came out. I'm like, what is this about? Like, and I legit needed somebody to talk me through the process because I'm like, is this normal? Where do I now get the shoe from? Well, now you got to get on the resale market. What is that? Learn about the resale market. And I'm just like, no. And so I see it, and it's like, at that point, I think it was probably only like $250. I mean, the shoe was $170 when it came out. It was like $250 on the resale market. I'm like, I ain't paying that. I barely want to pay this $170, right? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, forget it. And so that started my whole journey on this whole sneaker stuff, right? And I eventually got it because, and people will probably think I'm crazy, but I ended up hitting the UNC ones last year, and I didn't want them because I wanted the Hyper Royals that was coming out later. And so I flipped the UNC ones to get my biohacks.
Okay.
So that's how I obtained the grail for me. There is not a shoe out there that I'm like, I've got to have this shoe, whatever. There's shoes that are nice to me. Okay, wait, let me take that back. Because I was just looking at some Air Max 1s today, and I think I'm gonna need the what are they? The Paras.
with the white and
The
blue.
yeah, I'm gonna need them. They got like the blue stripes and they pink and all. I'm gonna need them. I'm gonna need them, but that price tag was like six something, and I said, well, for a shoe. So unless I can get a good flip somewhere, they gonna just stay my grail. But that's probably the one shoe that I'm like, yeah, if I ever, even if I had, I'm gonna be honest with you, Joe. Like Chris, like if I had $600 to spend, I'm still not buying the shoe. I'm gonna just tell you, I'm not gonna do it.
That was
Principle.
that was an authentic Chicago Joe that just came out. I heard that. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all be calling each other that. It's how we say in Cleveland. We say something whack. We say it's Jay. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. Hit me with the authentic Chicago Joe. Like, I appreciate it.
I'm just saying, like, I just like they nice, but I can't see myself doing that.
Nah,
I can't do it. And more power to anybody who does it. Like, much respect. It's not me disrespecting. I just can't do it for me.
listen, I've never paid more than $300 for a shoe, and the one time I did was back in the 2000s when I didn't have the responsibilities I have now. So I understand. You know,
There's that.
stores you get used to shit. I don't even want to pay box half the time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm with you. I'm cheap. You know,
Woo!
and,
Listen, I'm trying to tell you.
and
If I can't get it for retail and under, I don't want it.
yeah,
I don't want retail and under. That's my game.
my boy Jay, I peeped the Joe too. Yeah, we appreciate that.
It just flew. It just came out. You know, I'm just like chopping it up. So,
Good. Oh man. So
but no, I don't really have a real grail. But like, that's a nice shoe that I would like to have. But that biohack was my thing.
that's
It took me a
great.
couple months, but I eventually got it.
That's a great shoe. Okay. So what direction do you see your collection going in the future?
Oh man, I wanted to go back to how it started, but I don't think that's ever possible now.
That's
I don't think it's possible to go back to the 50 and under collection.
it's
I would love that, but
the reach back side. Most of my reach backs be less than it'd be less than 100. Not always less than 50, but sometimes.
we're gonna have to talk because we the same size, so we're gonna have to chop it up. It's like, where you finding these reachbacks at? So we can talk offline on that. But like, yeah, I think for me, I think where my collection is going is I'm really trying to find. This year, I was been very intentional, and I really want to find a balance between what I like, that's like the hype shoes that's coming out, versus just what I like in general, right? And so I've been on my New Balance thing for a little bit, and that just makes more sense for me because, one, the comfort of it all, the reasonable prices of it all, and so I really am trying to balance out my collection and not have a wall of 150 and up shoes, right? I really want to get myself back to a place where I'm finding stuff that I really like that I could rock and not worrying about like what people may think about the shoe. So I'm really just trying to get that balance. And so for me, it's stepping away from like Jordan and really also Nike, truly, like in terms of like that being like the only thing. Like, I'm a Nike girl through and through, obviously with Converse as well, being, owned or whatever by Nike. But it's like that New Balance and Reebok is starting to like come up as well because I seen that's what I was gonna buy a pair of Reeboks when I was at the mall the other day. They just didn't have my size. But that's more so what I'm trying to balance out because for me those are more everyday wears. Right? Like Jordans, I can't wear, like, yes, I could wear them every day, but like I got to be very specific in what I'm wearing, right? If I just want to just throw something on, I just need to grab some, some beaters for the day. Like, my beater's still gonna be clean, but I just want to grab something simple. I ain't trying to be like, oh, I got to just Jordan one. Now I got to make sure the pants fit right, so it lay on that right. I got to make sure my shirt. It's too much sometimes, right? And that's why I spend too much time trying to figure out what I'm wearing every day because I'm trying to, whatever. So just I think balancing that out with like the popular stuff versus the stuff that is really just sensible, everyday kind of shoes. That's where I see myself trying to get back to. Because like I said, that's how I started. And this past year, I've been on all I'm buying is like these new releases. I got to go back to start searching for the stuff that makes sense for me on an everyday kind of basis, not necessarily just because I want a got 'em screen.
Okay. Now, another Chicago entity, because we've already talked about Jordan and the Bulls. Kanye. So, where are you at with the Yeezys? Do you mess with the Yeezys at all, or is that something you like?
I don't even wear Adidas. So I'll just put that out there. We'll stop. I don't wear Adidas. So even before Kanye, I don't wear Adidas.
Why don't you wear Adidas?
Yeah. I think I remember owning a pair before. But I think for me it was just, if it wasn't like a shell toe, everything else looked kind of like cheap, right? And I didn't want to really rock like that. And so yes, now there are different kinds of Adidas out there, but I think I went so long of just like, nah, I'm good on the Adidas route, and I'm like a Nike snob. So that's why. And then when Yeezy came, I think all the Yeezy shoes are ugly. Just personally. Huh?
You say you're a Nike snob?
A little bit.
I appreciate that. I feel that.
A little bit.
This is
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would not even say a little bit, because even like I said, with my niece and my godkids, like their parent will not buy them a shoe that's not Nike because they know I'm gonna talk about them. And so when they need shoes, they say, "Hey, can you get so and so?" And then yeah, we go into the Nike store and get you some shoes. But I almost crucified somebody. They like put my like godson in like this. I call it a ninja shoe, but it was like an Adidas. I'm like, please don't ever make him wear that again, because that's not the move. And so I am a Nike snob. I'm not gonna lie about it. So I should just own it. I'll just own it. I'm a Nike snob.
thrifty.
And not even like a Jordan snob, just Nike. I'm a Nike snob.
I feel it. Well, see, we're old, so Jordan and Nike is the same thing for me. Every Jordan I own is right. Nike. So
yeah.
But yeah, okay. So what is now, after these next few, I gotta ask you some thrifty Chicago questions. But what is on your radar next for the new releases? Like, what new release are you interested in?
I need that concept collab, that Air Max 1. I need that on the 12th. Gotta have that. I'm gonna figure out how to get that. I want it. I think I want, but I'm not 100% sure. I really truly want that. Even though it's only released in like 6 stores, that Rebellion Air Max AJ1. That's a nice shoe, but I think the chances of that is gonna be slim to none. But the only shoe that, like the holiday releases that I seen, so I want the white. I think it's like white and blue, the 4. Again, I don't own a 4, never even wanted a 4. I seen that shoe today and I was like, that's the 4 that I can actually get with. I want that as it comes out. And then there is a 13 that's like black and like a teal, or like a scuba blue.
Yeah,
I want
like,
that too.
Yeah.
Those two.
You ain't gonna try to get the Chicago 1 or the Chicago 2?
Yeah, no. I mean, I'll try, but I ain't like pressed about it. I'll shoot my shot. I always shoot a shot, but
well, if you hit, since we wear the same size, you can just mail them down here, since you don't really, you know what I mean?
I see what you did there. I
mean, we both got 11.5, 13. We right there.
Yeah, we right there. We right there with each other.
I'll say it though. Like, I don't always enjoy my size, because if I'm not working at the store, I know chances are an 11.5 is just not going to be there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm either have to settle for an 11 or settle for a 12. Now, if it's a performance shoe, like if I'm buying a LeBron 19 or a Kyrie Infinity or something, I'm just going to buy a 12 anyway, because I feel like Nike makes the shoes smaller. But certain older silhouettes that I really would rather have an 11.5, or in some cases even an 11 in.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
the 11.5 is always tough. So I just tell people, I wear 12. Fuck it.
It's always tough.
Yeah.
And then when you try to do it get it on the resale market, like the 11 be like 300, the 12 be like 305, the 11.5 is 450.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How?
That happened with the I mean, it's really bad with LeBrons. Like my wife, she wears a women's 10 or 8.5. It'll be LeBrons I want. Her size, even brand new on GOAT, they might be 150. My size, they'll be like 300, 350.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy.
You're like, dang. What we do? What did we do? I take it personal. What did we do?
Like, man, I know people can, Hooper might want it, but man, ain't nobody hooping at these. You know, it's just him here. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that half size gets you you be like, God, Lee.
Yeah. So there's been a couple times where I'm like, man, fuck it. I'm going to just do this 11. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? 12 is too much.
What the thin socks?
Yeah. Fuck it. I do it. You know, if it's a Jordan 5 or a Jordan 6, it's got a big toe box anyway. But if it's a LeBron, it's got to be a 12, man. Otherwise, I just can't get it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, yes.
So, as we go to the post-game portion of the show.
Uh-huh.
So, my last guest, Black Tom Hagen, shout out to him. He currently lives in Chicago as well. I asked him some areas where I should go or shouldn't go the next time I come up. So, I'm going to ask you the same thing, just, you know.
But I'm going to just say ditto what he said.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Ask the question. Go ahead.
No, but like, where's the first place that comes to your mind where you'd be like, you know, somebody coming to Chicago, you'd be like, yeah, don't go to that area. Where are you telling them?
Man, right now it's the west side.
Okay.
Of town, the Austin neighborhood, and I'm saying that, and I work in that neighborhood. That's just not the move for folks to go in right now. It's just hot over there. It was real. It's been challenging in that area. So for me, right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you, just be careful going to the west side. Particularly stay away from the Austin neighborhood because they crazy over there.
All right. Now, one thing I didn't get to ask him that I regret, so I'm gonna ask you: out of the boutiques that are in Chicago, y'all got what? Fat Tiger, y'all got Success, y'all got RSVP Gallery. Like, are you messing with any of these spots, or do you go to any of them?
I don't mess with the boutiques.
Okay, you don't mess. Okay.
No. Nope.
All right.
But I go to I go to like the local, like the Snipes or like the City Gear type thing, but I don't really do the boutique because, again, markups.
Yeah. Yeah, City Gear is nice. We didn't really get those in Cleveland, but Hibbett bought City Gear when I was working for Hibbett. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, cool, you know, we could get, but at the time I couldn't order that. And I'm like, they got all the J's and shit we just sold out of. They there, but I can't get them. So, you know, it's good that they've joined forces now. I didn't know that y'all had a Snipes there, you know, as well.
I didn't either. I just happened to run across it one day. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Had to pull in. I got a pair of Jordan 1s out of there that day, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So before we close, you got to tell people Thrifty Sneakerhead. Need one of them shirts. You know, I'm a sneakerhead. I still need one. I need, like, I'm somewhere in between a 2X and a 3X right now. I don't know what's going on, but, you know, tell me you got one of them standby or something. I need a Thrifty Sneakerhead shirt.
I can make that happen for you. I can definitely make that happen for you. Yeah, so I've been on Instagram, Thrifty Sneakerhead, since 2017, I think it is. But I launched like my website 2020. So during COVID, I said I was gonna make shirts because I was paying folks to make shirts for me, right? Like t-shirts or whatever. And I'm like, the money I'm spending on having someone make this for me and paying the shipping, I can go buy the equipment myself. And so it was COVID. What else we got to do? So I went to, the store, got my machine, got all my little vinyl and all this and all that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna start making them. So I started doing it just for myself. And then, so that was like in June of 2020. And then I made a decision in August that I wanted to like own my brand, like to own my name, right? So Thrifty Sneakerhead. And so I went and got that, started an LLC with that. And I said, okay, now what is what I'm asking myself. And I was like, well, I guess I could sell shirts. Because at the end of the day, people gonna be buying shoes and they may want a shirt to match the shoes. And I know that's how I like to rock things. Like if I got a certain colorway of a shoe, I want the shirt to kind of match, da da da. And so I started that way. I legit opened it up. I opened up for my birthday. So it was I'll say it was my 40th birthday in 2020. So I did like a whole little photo shoot, had the guy do like a little promo video, introducing, my website, did that. And it was cool. It's been cool, making different shirts and things like that. And then I started realizing, like, for me, I'm always making a whole bunch of stuff for myself that like other folks ain't really seeing. And I'm like, well, I should venture out, not necessarily get rid of, but like start doing more stuff. So that's kind of how like different things started evolving, where I did like the whole Juneteenth movement with some stuff. I did some Black History shirts. I did a little this, that, or the other. And I was like, oh, this is all right. And so I got to my 1 year mark, 2021. And I was like, well, now what do I want to do? Because do I want to maintain this life? Working full time plus making shirts and other many things I got going on. And a lot started happening around the anniversary, which was in November of my 1 year. And I decided to shut my website down because I needed a moment. I had some deaths that was close to me. I had some other stuff going on, had some failures in some other areas of my life, and I just needed a moment to like breathe. And so I said, I'm just going to like just be smooth for a couple of months and then I'll come back around to it. Here we are now. So I shut it down in November. And here we are now in March. I still haven't picked it back up yet, but I have been doing stuff for folks that have been asking, right? Like I've been doing, little custom pieces for people who are like, hey, can I get a shirt that matches this shoe? Or whatever. They'll see like a shirt on the internet and be like, hey, can you do something similar to this? I'll do that. I was just talking to someone yesterday. I'm like, I think it might be time for me to open back up, but I'm like, I want to wait until I feel like some other things are out of the way. So I'm getting ready to sit for this major test next month. And so I said, let me get through that piece and then I'll probably open myself back up in terms of like putting the website back together. Cause it's just me. There ain't nobody helping me, ain't nobody working with me, ain't nobody create the website. It's just me learning on my own amidst the other things I got. So while my name is still Look Fly Responsibly, which was the tagline for Thrifty Sneakerhead. Right. And for me, I changed it because at the end of the day, I want folks to do what they do, but do it responsibly. Right. Like you can buy the $600 shoe, just don't neglect your mortgage. You know what I mean? Like do stuff that makes sense. Right. You can still look fly without like being behind on bills. You know what I mean? So that was what that impetus was for changing like my IG name or whatever. But I'm still Thrifty Sneakerhead at the end of the day. Like I said, retail or under. I've only bought one shoe on the resale market, and that was that biohack. That's because I had the value in the other shoe. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I'll make sure I hook you up with some Thrifty Sneakerhead gear. I'm getting ready. It'll open back up. Let me get through this test next month, and then you'll start seeing me popping back up again. I loved it. I missed it. I love seeing people with my shirt on. And seeing my name on folks' chests, that was like a beautiful thing for me. I just got to get past a couple of things, and I'll bring it back.
I look forward to it.
I'll bring it.
Yeah. Well,
it was fun times. Hard work, but fun times.
All right. Now look, before we go, do you have any questions for me?
Like not necessarily questions, but comments. Like I've been peeping. Like, listen, your game is. Because I told you I'm a Converse girl. It's the Converse game for me. It's just like, I thought I had a lot. But like you bringing out stuff, I don't know. It was this high top pair that you had. I'll have to find it on your page and like acknowledge that's the one I'm talking about. I was like, where did bro get this shoe from? And my God, like why don't I have it? But like you got heat in the Converse game, and I can appreciate that. And I love the fact that you old school with what you be rocking. I just keep doing that. I'm just loving, this community. Like I said, I'm super new to it, right? Like I'm just really getting my foot in the door and things like that. But like just seeing and learning from folks, like I pay attention to, even though I don't talk a lot about stuff, I pay attention to what folks is doing, how they moving, and everybody don't move, in a way in which I can get with. But like I just been paying attention, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your wife. Like y'all, it's just keep doing the thing. I don't really have no question, but just understand this: that people are watching that you don't even know are watching. So even before you had asked me about it, I was already watching. You know what I mean, about coming on and things like that. And so it's important that we continue to be true to who it is that we are, and I see that with both of you guys, and that's all I can say. Just keep doing that. Keep doing that for sure.
Listen, that really means a lot, you know what I'm saying, coming from you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for the invite too. Like, I'm like, you want to talk to me? I'm like, I ain't got nothing going on. Like, but I get it though. Like, yeah. And then my sis, Quick Cutie there, she's been a big supporter for me since day one. And so when I think she had my shirt on one of y'all lives, and I was just like, dang, she rocking my stuff still. I'm like, that's what's up. I can appreciate that. Like, it's always interesting to see your stuff on somebody. And yeah, she's definitely been a good advocate. And so I appreciate that. So I just appreciate the invite. It's been fun. I ain't been on nobody's live, I would think, ever. I've been on like a YouTube live thing, but not like on a Instagram live. So you got me.
Nah, really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to, what I'm saying, rocking, your stuff myself. And, once I get my stuff together, maybe we can collab one day and do something.
Yeah.
Things coming.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And just in general, I'm gonna be in, touch with you, bugging you. Hey, you see these? What you think about these?
Please do. Because since we're in the same size and listen, a little bit more than me, please. It's never a bother.
Okay.
It's never a bother. But then when and I'll be like, listen, bro, my paycheck now. Come on, hold on.
I'm gonna send you a picture of me going like this. For sure.
Yeah, but I appreciate that though. Good looking out. I do appreciate it.
No problem. So I'll be in touch. I definitely appreciate you on. Thank you to everybody in the chat that joined or watched too.
Yes. Thank you, chat. Thank you.
Also special because this is episode 70. You know what I'm saying? So it's episode 70.
70?
Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah, I definitely glad to have you a part of that, milestone episode 70. So
I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah. It's been fun, man. Just talking about sneakers, talking about this. It's been so fun. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I appreciate it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, but thank you again. I'll be in touch. One love, and I'll see everybody soon. Peace.
Peace out.